Life is
great.
good,
You're
man.
looking great. How are your daughters? How are they athletes?
Oh, my goodness. Getting big, man. Getting on my nerves. You know, the usual.
This is the Schmo with the six-time Pro Bowler, the man who needs no introduction, the legend in the city of Philadelphia, Donovan McNabb, in the flesh, here in Las Vegas for the Super Bowl. How we doing, man?
Outstanding.
Hey, we're making history, man. This is the first time Las Vegas is having a Super Bowl. Did you ever think we'd see the day?
You know what? I have. And everything that they've done thus far here in Vegas with the Reliance Stadium, UFC and what they've done here. Obviously, the NBA had their All-Star game here. And the A's are now moving, supposedly, here, too. So I know that there's been a little hold-up with that, but I think it's still going to go through. But I just think at this particular point, the only thing that they're missing is to have the Super Bowl here and then an NBA team coming.
They've already had 2 Pro Bowls here. They've already had an NFL draft here. So obviously the Super Bowl just made sense.
Right. I mean, you know, again, in football and gambling have merged a little bit to do a little partnership. So it works hand in hand. And it's going to be an exciting Super Bowl. I think the weather will be pretty decent. The fanfare will be outstanding all week. So I think the NFL has done a great job of choosing. And not only will they have it here, I think in the next 4 to 5 years they'll come back. And so they'll be able to clean up a lot of the mistakes that they made this year.
Listen, there's very few schmoes out there that know Andy Reid more than you, Donovan, man. You've done a lot of games with this man, a lot of championships with him. What do you think is going through his mind during this preparation to the Super Bowl week? Obviously, he was here last year. He knows the way of the land. What do you think is going through his mind right now?
Well, he's hoping that his team stays loose. They're well prepared. I usually get a chance to get out and go see him during the week, and what I've seen from his organization, I've seen from his players, is just those guys are bouncing around, just executing plays, being on the same page, and it shows out on the weekend. So I think for Andy, it's business as usual, something that he's been a part of now a couple times, and he'll have his team ready, and they'll be ready to go.
Where do you stand in this conversation everyone's having about the greatest of all time? People are putting Patrick Mahomes in there because if he wins, he gets a 3rd Super Bowl. Obviously, he's only started 6 years in the NFL, but Tom Brady, he's got 7 Super Bowls.
Well, I mean, I think what we're saying for both of them is the ghost of Bill Belichick and the ghost of Tom Brady is what those two are chasing. And not a lot of quarterbacks currently can say that. I mean, for him to win this Super Bowl, that would be 3. Tom has been to 6, 7, 8 Super Bowls, and he's been very successful in the AFC appearances as well in the AFC Championship. So for him to kind of be on that path says a lot about the success that he's had so far. Now, as far as Andy is concerned, I mean, to take 2 different organizations to winning seasons and a Super Bowl, and now to win multiple Super Bowls with one organization, I mean, may not get the wins of what Bill Belichick has accumulated, but we're talking Super Bowl appearances and Super Bowl championships, says a lot.
He's right up in the conversation as greatest coach of all time.
Absolutely. And I'll be biased a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. And I definitely would mention his name when it comes to greatest coach of all time.
Brock Purdy, from what you've seen so far, game changer or game manager?
People need to understand what Cam was saying. There's nothing wrong with being a game manager because all quarterbacks manage the game. Now, some are blessed with a little bit more talent around them, but you still got to manage the game. You got to protect the football. You have to get them in the right play. You got to be accurate. Now, game changer, if you have that game changer aspect of it, you can do it from the pocket or you can do it outside the pocket. Just in the way the game is now, it's about being outside the pocket and creating a little bit. So what we've seen. So I think with Brock Purdy, he's a winner. That's what I put at him right now. He's a winner. Jimmy Garoppolo was a winner in San Francisco as well. Now, the thing that Jimmy wasn't able to do is to win the Super Bowl against Kansas City. Now, will Brock be able to do that? Or will we be kind of just waiting and seeing how things continue to transpire with Brock?
Who will be the game changer of this year's Super Bowl, Donovan?
I think the game changers will be the 2 running backs. The game changers will be the 2 running backs in CMC and then Pacheco. If they're able to, both are able to establish the run game, it neutralizes the linebackers and safeties where now it puts the corners out on the island. And so the X factors in this game will be George Kittle and Travis Kelce. Now, I say that because if you're running the football, what does that put on the linebacker and safety? Lots of pressure to cover the tight end. If they can cover that tight end, Now you can spread the ball around. But if they don't cover that tight end, we'll see Travis with 10 catches. We'll see Kittles maybe with about 8, 9 catches. No, he hasn't had a lot of catches in the playoffs thus far yet, but he's been used to block. He's been used to catch a few here and there, but that's when they start to involve them into the offense.
Will there be more or less than 2.5 players with a pass attempt in this big game?
More than 2.5 players? No.
No trick plays?
The trick plays, I think, will go back to Patrick, maybe a flea flicker or a reverse pass. And the same probably with Brock. I don't see anybody else throwing a pass. I don't see CMC throwing a pass. Definitely don't see Deebo Samuels doing it. So I think it'll be more of the quarterbacks in the trick plays with the fake reverse pass or, maybe a flea flicker or two.
As you and the Schmo have talked about over the years, one of the biggest blunders the Schmo Chicago Bears have made was never signing you. What should they do with this first overall pick? Do you think they should keep Justin Fields? Do they think they should draft this kid out of USC? What would you do if you were the GM?
I'm a Justin Fields guy. Now, not taking anything away from Caleb Williams, but it's a lot of pressure on the Bears to do that because of the public. The public talking about going and get Caleb Williams and what that would do for their franchise. They need a little bit more help. So if they did trade the pick back and get more picks and keep Justin Fields and maybe trade Justin if they wanted to do that later, then that would be something. But I think for the Bears, I like Justin Fields. I think he's shown that he can do different things. So I think for the Bears, it's really a hit or miss. And I think if they decide to keep Justin, it could still be a hit. And if they draft Caleb, it'll be a hit.
Fellow Orangeman Marvin Harrison, his son, arguably the biggest talent in this NFL draft.
Right.
What do you make of him? Is he the real deal? And who do you think is going to get him?
From the way it looks right now, I think that the Arizona Cardinals probably will end up getting
your home team right now.
I think that's what's going to end up happening is if the Bears decide to get Caleb, then we're talking New England probably getting Jalen Daniels, and then that third pick will probably be the Arizona Cardinals.
And how's life for you, man? Outkick the coverage. You're always doing something, Donovan.
Always staying busy. That's what life is. It's about continue to move, continue to groove, and always stay smooth.
Can you show us a little groove right here?
No,
you don't have your dancing shoes on?
That's not for the cameras.
All right. Final message for all the Donovan McNabb fans out there worldwide.
Stay fresh.
He's the pro. I'm the Schmo. Super Bowl Radio Row. We're out.